Okay. Well, that's all right. That's why I ask you to come, Pat. You keep me in check. So welcome again, everyone. Rewind. My name is Barbara Samuel. And on behalf of Reverend Gwen and I, we thank you for joining us today. Gwen is actually on the road, driving a road that we call the Coquihalla, to see her children and grandbabies. And she sends her deepest love for you. So listen, today for Froggy Friday, we have a beautiful treat for you. We have a double treat. We have been sharing the platform over the weeks with our Kenyan family to come and shine their light and give a brief outline of who they are, what they're looking at in life, and what's happening in their life related to Science of Mind. And so we have Michael Kirgu with us today in the house. And to take put your hands together, and the crowd goes crazy. And we have Missy Christensen, who is on the island. She's coming to give her wusha, her zen, her love with us, share her wisdom. Missy, I'm just getting to know on a completely deeper level, and she is one of my most favorite people. She is creative, extraordinarily talented, and at the same time she is organized, and those are the two things coming together are not always left, right, mind together, but Missy brings them together, and I love witnessing that. And we have some, and she brought her posse. Woo!
Yay.
So Froggy Friday stands for our dear Reverend Connie. For those of you just joining us and don't know what Froggy stands for, Connie said, when you see a frog, think of me. Full realization of God. And that's why our community decided to call this Froggy Fridays. So listen, we have a song that we sing. We have a song that we sing that was one of Connie's favorite songs. It's turned into one of our favorite songs. I invite you to mute yourself, but sing along. And if I give you the cue, Missy, do you know this song? You want to sing a little bit of this song with me? If I shout it over to you? No, she's like, not yet. No. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. And then I'm going to sing. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another, born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. I'm going to pretend I'm Gwen. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. Can you put your hands together? We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. When it's all said and done, we are one. Give yourself some love. Woo! You guys are in good voice this morning. All right. Well, as we start everything, I love the smiles and the energies that's happening. As we start everything in this teaching, that thing that sets us apart from all philosophies, other religions, I want to invite Miss Susan. Are you with me, Susan? I want to invite her to open us up with a spiritual mind treatment. Now, again, I'm surrounded by some of my most favorite people when I come to Froggy Friday. Susan, you might not know, is an important integral part in our board of directors. She is behind the scenes. And I sent her a note this week that said, your hard work does not go unnoticed. I know who you are. So, sister, will you open us up, please, in treatment?
So I breathe in. I breathe in that divinity and go to that space where I know God is. God is everywhere present. There is nothing that God is not. From the sun in the sky to the sound of the chirping crickets, that is God. From everything, from this one God, this one power, everything is created automatically, freely, without reservation, without thought. So everything that's around us is an expression of God. There is nothing in this global world that God is not. And I sink into that knowledge, into that knowing, into that place where I know I am an individualized expression of God. As I step into this knowing, this knowledge, this understanding, this integral part of me, I recognize that as an individualized expression of God, that power is within me. My thoughts create automatically, freely, flowing from within me. So as we come together globally as a community, we celebrate the faith that we are. We celebrate the knowledge and knowing of how the universal works within our lives. We come together to explore new concepts, new ideas, new thought patterns that pull us forward. For in everything there is change, for everything there is faith, for everything there is growth. And from that we create beyond what has gone before. There is nothing that we cannot conquer, we cannot do, we cannot be. And I let those words sink into my heart. Feel the tingle within my heart that the words that I have spoken are true. And with this, I release these words to the law, knowing that mine is to dress up, to show up, to see it made manifest. With gratitude, I say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This and more. And together we release the words by saying, and so it is.
And so it is. Woo-hoo. Ooh, did somebody say Susan Berry? Susan Berry or Reverend Berry? Come on, girl, come on. Okay, everyone, we have laid the platform. We know the foundation. Thank you for that incredible treatment, Susan. It is my joy, my extraordinary delight to share the stage, our platform, our Zoom platform stage with one of my most new favorite people in the whole wide world. Ladies and gentlemen, she travels with her posse. She comes from Canada, but her heart is in Kenya. Please welcome Missy Christensen in the house.
Whoop,
Woo!
whoop. Thank you. No pressure though. So great to be here. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I'm feeling the energy moving in me this morning. So yes, my talk is Meekness Weakness. So who here has heard the expression, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth? If you've heard that from the Bible, I think it's Matthew 5:5. Yeah, you've heard that before. So what does that mean to you? So I know for me, that means it's this idea of being small, of being weak, of being supplicant, of looking towards something bigger and better than me to give me the reason to live or to even breathe or be alive or matter. And that it also comes with this idea for me, from what I learned when I was growing up, that I have to suffer in this life and I have to apologize for myself in this life so that I can have something better in another life and another time after I'm dead, which feels not life affirming to me. So I think about the Bible as this holy book, this gathering of teachings, and I recognize that it has been translated many, many times over many, many years. And so it's been open to a certain degree of interpretation. And so I know that science of mind has a way of interpreting these lessons as well. New Thought has a way of interpreting these lessons. And so I'm going to speak today from what I consider to be the New Thought perspective. around this idea of the meek inheriting the earth. So first of all, what it conjures up for me is this idea of sin. So I am a sinner and I need to be forgiven. And if I supplicate myself, then in the afterlife, I will have a good life. So I want to first just look at this idea of sin. So sin is actually an archery term. Sin literally means just missing the mark. So it's just a lack of aim. You know what I mean? It's a lack of focus in a direction that gets you to the bullseye that you're headed towards. It's a mistake. And we all make mistakes. And in fact, I had a teacher at one point who said, if you're not crashing and burning, then you're not learning. So we can say a mistake is something wrong, but we also know in science of mind that there is no wrong. There is no duality. There is no good and bad. And even Shakespeare said, there is no good or bad, but that thinking makes it so. So if I agree that there is no good or bad, there's only good everywhere present, then a mistake is actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity for learning. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to have an experience that tells me whether this is something that is a pleasant thing and I'm going to keep going in this direction, or it's an opportunity for me to go, unpleasant experience, going in another direction, time for a bigger idea. So a mistake is actually our good. It is actually an opportunity to learn. And if we're not crashing and burning, we're not learning. And so that is the way that we move further towards expansion, towards our good. So a sin is not bad. It's good. It's an opportunity to learn. And this is how we change our mind to a bigger idea. I can believe that it's wrong. I can beat myself up, or I can look for the opportunity. And that's the way science of mind works. So then, if learning from our mistakes is forgiveness, it's for givingness. It gives us our good. So then, what is the forgiveness that the Bible talks about? Is it something that comes from outside of me, something that somebody else has to give me? Or is it a way that I live my life to give myself the experiences to grow? I would say that that is the truth, capital T truth. And so if it's not coming from outside of me, then I would say that my mission in life is not to meekly seek to take up less space than I naturally do, or to live in apology for who I am, or to ask someone or something else for approval. So then what if I instead step boldly in the direction that my consciousness, at whatever state my consciousness is at, I just step boldly in that direction. And from that, I get to have an experience to give myself opportunities to expand myself more fully. Ernest Holmes, we all know who Ernest Holmes is, right? Wrote Science of Mind. So Ernest Holmes says, God does not punish sin. As we correct our mistakes, our lack of aim, we forgive our own sins. So I am God working through me. There is no God for me to supplicate to. It is for me to notice and correct my aim. It's that simple. And so there is no source outside of us. There's nothing looking down, judging us, telling us that we are naturally wrong or bad, that we must play small in order to earn our good. Our source is within us. It is all around us. We are self-correcting, and our good is everywhere present. And as we are ready to give to ourselves, space opens up for more good to show up. The way becomes clearer because we're getting out of our own way. So if this line of reasoning around makes sense to you. So then let's look at this idea of meekness as this idea of weakness or something small. It doesn't make sense, right? So it's contracted, it's not expansive. And it takes something away from us, which is not truth, capital T truth, right? So if we know that we are breathed into life by a creative source of infinite possibility, the true nature of which is love, what is love defined as? So again, in Science of Mind, love is defined as the divine givingness, for to give, right? So me thinking that I have to try to be perfect rather than just allowing myself to be, or believing that I should spend my existence meekly beating myself up for my mistakes, my opportunities to give myself learning and infinite expansion, then that can't be what it means by meekness in connection with inheriting the earth, right? So let's look at what this notion of inheriting the earth means. Maybe that'll give us more clues as to what this thing means. So Ernest Holmes in Science of Mind speaks about how there's no heaven and there's no hell as separate far off places that we're going to get to someday after we die. So that gives us no incentive to live, right? Let's just get to the other places where it's better. So he speaks of them as our lived reality based on where we choose to focus our intention and our thoughts, and more especially our feelings, because that's the energy that we give to things. So thoughts plus feelings equal manifestation, right? So Holmes wrote that faith is fear misplaced, and that hell is not a location, but it is a belief in duality, so in otherness, the idea that there is anything other than good that could possibly exist. Or it's a belief that our good is always to be rather than it is. It already is. It's not happening sometime later. It's happening now. It's around us always now. He also writes that heaven is not a place, that it is a state of happiness, that it is within and it revolves about us. And it is the result of the atmosphere of conviction, which our thought awakens in us. So in other words, faith properly placed. Fear is faith misplaced. This is faith properly placed. And therefore we are in a heaven of our own making. So if there's no heaven and there's no hell, except that which we create for ourselves through conviction or faith, and then I'm already here on earth, then there's nothing to inherit, right? Where's the inheriting come in? So I looked at the word inherit, and I found that it also means to receive. So the message then to me is, if I am meek, whatever that means, then I will receive the earth. But again, I'm already here. I'm already on the earth, I already have the earth. So again, what does that mean? What is there to receive? So then it dawned on me, could it mean that there is a greater experience of oneness with the earth and with one another that is available to be received by me? Something more than I've already known. So that was an interesting thought to me. So could it mean that I will receive the infinite benefits of a deepened oneness with the earth more than I have already been experiencing? Could it mean that I may come to understand the earth more? I may come to feel as if I more truly am one with all of creation. Does that kind of open a thought for anyone? Does that open an idea more that feels a little bit more life affirming? So I'm opening to receive that which is already there, but which I may not be letting in. I may not be receiving it. I may have a fixed idea of what it is and what it means. And so I can't see the good, even though it's there. I'm focusing on something else. I am misplacing my faith. I am making a mistake. It's just a lack of aim, right? So then, if heaven is not a place that I get to that is elsewhere, but it's something that I experience here on earth in the way that I show up in my life, then this meekness piece must be part of a co-creation with the infinite good to receive, right? So that I can have that experience of heaven and earth right now. But how? There's the $1,000 question, right? So there's ancient faith practices and mystics, old and new, and even now quantum reality. It talks about time being an illusion. So the past is over. There is no future. The future is just an idea. So there's only this moment. And in each moment, all the power of one life is within me. It's out picturing as me, through me, and it's all good. So that means that each moment is a new opportunity to align. So to align my aim towards this good. And then that plants a seed for the next moment into the infinite reality. So if I exist in infinite possibility, I can align with heaven or I can manifest hell. And then I've been given this choice. And that then becomes my experience on earth. So where's the meekness fit into that equation? So then I wondered, could it be something to do with being fully present in the now, fully present to all of the good that is immersed in me, regardless of circumstances? So who knows who Emma Curtis Hopkins was? So she's considered the teacher of teachers, and she was someone with whom Ernest Holmes studied. So she's a mystic, and in her book, The Scientific Christian Mental Practice, she wrote, "As divine mind, which I am, I preach the gospel, I heal the sick, I cast out passions, I raise the dead, I work the works of God who works through me to that done by me." Okay, doesn't sound very meek to me. And yet she is a revered mystic. She is someone who has unlocked for others capital T truth. So, meekness again must not be this smallness, this weakness that we've talked about, this apologetic, seeing outside myself for approval and hoping for good after I'm dead. So she went on to write, "We make our own happiness or unhappiness so far as the phenomenal world, the world of form, is concerned. From the phenomenal standpoint, we have chance, we have change, we have unhappiness. But all of our faith, all of our reasonings are to the end of opening our eyes to see the real world. From the standpoint of truth, it is with us always." She also wrote, my good is my God, and my God is my life." Ooh, getting the feels just saying that. And so she also said, "In God I move and live and have my being. I am spirit, mind, wisdom, strength, wholeness." And Ernest Holmes said it another way. He said, "One puts on the Christ to the degree that they surrender to beyond a limited sense of life, to the divine realization of wholeness and unity with good." And then Emma Curtis Hopkins talks about how there's nothing for us to do. There's often this idea that, well, I'm doing life, I'm making it happen. They have to like burden it, and it's, you're alone in the wilderness making it happen. But life isn't happening to us. It isn't happening by us. It's happening through us, as us, by something that breathes us, that is infinite in possibility. It doesn't have to be effortful. It doesn't have to be exhausting. We are co-creating with a divine source. And so if we let go of our ego selves, that small self that thinks that suffering is somehow righteous and brings it to us so we can feel good about how righteous we are, if instead we let our ego selves out of the way and we experience the good that is everywhere present, we allow it to move through us and we be moved by it, then we can experience the divine flow, and then we will know our next best right steps. And the Bible, going back to the Bible says, be still and know. By being still, I know, not by busily running around doing and trying to force everything to be the way that my ego mind thinks it should be. Be still and know. And then I will be moved by something bigger than me that moves me. So I thought, self, is that then what could be meant by meekness? Interior stillness, faith, and a letting go to a higher knowing, a higher knowing, a higher knowing. And so, what is the last step of an affirmative prayer practice? Release, right? Yes, release. I let go to that fertile substance, to the law of mind that always says yes. So we're connecting some dots, right? So Emma Curtis Hopkins, she also wrote, we were not made to fail. We were not made to be burdened. The lesson seems to take away our management of things. It is therefore a great lesson in meekness. It touches most nearly that word of Jesus Christ, not my will, but thy will be done. And we look to the Lord's Prayer. We all know that, right? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Right? So I submit to the law of our words. I give up the old words and I let the word of good be spoken in me, through me. So from this perspective, meekness is letting go and letting God. Doesn't mean I don't move, but I am moved. I'm not moving around in smallness. I am moved by something bigger, which leads me forward into a divine action, which leads me to have the experience, some of which may feel like mistakes, that lead me further towards my opening, my knowing, my good. So, what good are we embracing, celebrating, releasing into, allowing to flow through us as us with ease and grace? What are we being and becoming rather than doing? And if we're doing from a consciousness not of separation, but instead of connectivity and for the good of all, then we are doing from that place of infinite good. And that can look like anything. And it may look like something we've never seen or known of before. So focusing on the good and giving more energy to that which is not focusing on the good and giving no more energy to that which is not uplifting and life affirming leads us to know that meekness is faith in action with an attitude of gratitude. And that's how we live in faith. So we don't shrink ourselves. We know that gratitude and love are two of the highest vibrational practices. And we know, yes, that they come with humility and they come with wonder and that sense that there's something bigger going on, but they need not be mild. They need not be meek. They need not be weak. Because we know that true strength isn't a measure of our bodies, it's a measure of our spirits. And this is cause for rejoicing. This is cause for exuberance and energy and taking up space, right? So each of us may be as big as our divine imaginations may engage with us to vision towards. And that visioning is spirit within. And when it comes to the consciousness of unity with the one, for the benefit of all, it is our gift. It's our gift to ourselves, it's our gift to the world, and it's our gift to that creative source that birthed us and breathes us into existence. So Marianne Williamson, in her book, A Return to Love, she said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is not our darkness that we fear. It is our light. She also said, your playing small does not serve the world. So I invite you to welcome meekness, not from the sense of anything small or mean or ego-driven or a notion of life focused on the world of form, but through opening to the true free flow of spirit within you, because it knows the way. And if you are still and you connect, you will know it too, because you are part of an infinite possibility. And so I encourage you to own your own gifts, not to shrink back, but to name it all, to celebrate it all, to give thanks to it all, to stand up and be seen. And maybe someone will try to knock you down and you stand up again, stand up 10 times, even if you're knocked down 9. And then to look for the good in all that you come across, regardless of station or circumstance or seeming, and to claim your heaven on earth. No more meekness as weakness. I encourage you to step boldly forward, proclaiming, I am the light of love in human form, and I am glorious. Because you are powerful beyond measure, and you will not blind anyone with your glory. And in fact, if you share it, you may even help them to see. So I rejoice in you. I encourage you to rejoice in yourself and in this life and in this moment. And thus we all shall inherit the earth.
Woo! Thanks, Missy. Woo! So much good in that. So much goodness in that. Way to go. That's incredible. Woo! Bravo, baby. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Now, you know what? Here's something incredible how the universe is synchronistic. I always say there's no right or wrong, there's just right or left. I'm really excited and how Michael's next piece is going to tie into what you just said, because I have a little tidbit of what's coming. So ladies and gentlemen, from your community right here in Kenya, welcome our very own Michael Kiragu. Woo!
Oh, what a lovely talk. That was awesome. Such a pleasure. And you know, I'm going to read you something from this book by Louise Hay. It's called Gratitude, Way of Life. And that's why it's the universe is awesome. We hadn't talked about this with Missy, and her talk just introduced gratitude and how it ties into meekness. It's absolutely awesome. So let me read you a passage, then I'm gonna give you a short story about gratitude and how it's impacted my life. So here goes. This is so it's a collection of many stories from Louise Hay's friends, and they all wrote short stories about gratitude, and she put them together in this book. So let me read this story from, he was called Nicholas Elipoulos. Just a short paragraph. It says, life is a gift, and our job is to learn to receive it. And if life is a gift, then gratitude is its magnet. Gratitude is a tangible force. The more you feel it, the more the reasons you'll find to feel it. Gratitude is a miraculous force, like a magical magnet, generating and then attracting so much more than you have already received. It's like a living energy, clearing the way for you to become so much more than you already have experienced. So if you are not yet someone who on a daily basis practices gratitude, like an unending prayer or background music for your life, I invite you to consider the possibility of doing so, beginning now. Come up to the higher room. Gratitude requires responsibility. See and begin to own your valuable contributions and talents. Acknowledge the people in your life, those you love and those you may not love. In a true sense, they're all the same. They are your teachers. Be grateful for them. While doing so, realize how powerful you are, how moving your life is, and to what extent you are blessed in just by being here. And then stand back and watch what happens. Isn't that wonderful? It's a lovely, I love that passage and I keep going back to it. It's gratitude has been a powerful force in my own life. And so I have a story. I think we have time for a short story about how it's impacted my life. And so every morning I wake up and I do my spiritual practice. And part of it involves journaling what I'm grateful for. And on this day, like every other day, I woke up, I did my spiritual practice, I did my treatment, I did a meditation, and I jotted down what I was grateful for. And I set off for work. I live about an hour outside Nairobi. So, I get into to traffic and I hit the road. But on this day, after journaling my gratitude, I felt a sense of love that beyond what I had ever felt before. Everything seemed aglow with love. It's difficult to explain, but everything just seemed like love itself. And on that day, the traffic was. Those of you who are in Nairobi know Nairobi can have crazy traffic. And on that day, traffic was even heavier. It took me 2 hours drive, longer than my usual drive, but that drive was aglow with love and joy, and everything just seemed to speak to love. I could see a crooked, lamp and think how perfect that is, or our matatus, our public transport vehicles have some graffiti written on them, but they had all these nice tidbits or that were just about love and gratitude. And sitting in that traffic, I didn't want it to end. And I ended up in the office, and people who I usually don't get along with seemed to also be perfect in who they are, and everything just seemed perfect. And for me, that was 4 years ago. And I still remember that day as if it was yesterday. And it's never happened after that. But it is such a precious moment for me to go back to, because for me, I realized two things about the power of gratitude. Gratitude is not something we use to get things or to help us to change the way life is. It helps me to see life in its full beauty, in its full splendor. And in that moment, in that day was perfect because I needed nothing. I didn't need anyone to be different. They could be themselves. They could be, what I used to call annoying. But on that day, they were just perfect. They were absolutely perfect and perfect divine. And the traffic was perfect. I didn't need it to be any different than it was. I didn't need the crooked lamp to be any different from it was. It was perfect in that moment. And the second thing is how gratitude enjoins us to everything that life has to offer. I felt one with everyone. I felt one with everything. And that was because of gratitude. And that's such a powerful thing, that, to be one with all of life means that you don't need anything, you don't need anyone, because you already are it with everything, that the fullness of life, you already are it. And gratitude connects us to the fullness of life. And I invite everyone who doesn't practice gratitude on a daily basis to give it a try. It's such a powerful practice that you can keep going back to over and over again. When everything seems crooked, you can see the divinity and the perfection by just being grateful for it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. I want you all to know Michael is one of our licensed practitioners and is on the ministerial track. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. I love how the universe conspires to bring everything together. That was just like a train, wasn't it? Between Missy and Michael. That was really beautiful. Well, Missy has created a couple of affirmations that we say together every week, and I'm just going to share my screen. I will say the affirmation and you will repeat it. And I'm going to invite you all to unmute yourselves. And it's just going to be like a big popcorn moment. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. I am the light of love in human form, and I am glorious.
I am the light.
I am the light of love in human form,
and
I am
Glorious.
My good is my God. My God is my life.
My
My
good.
good
is my God.
My
God is my
My
life.
God is my life.
My
Spirit
life.
stirring within me is my gift to the world.
Spirit
Spirit
stirring
within
within
me
is
me
my
is
gift to
my
the
gift to the world.
Oh, Missy, thank you for those beautiful affirmations. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, this is where we're going to pass our virtual offertory baskets. And if you feel like you've received something out of our service here today, and there's a little bit of tidbit from the gathering early to the information that Missy and Michael shared with you, or the songs that we're singing or the affirmations, Pat's going to post in the chat, and please feel free to give of your bounty and share. That goes to the center, to the children, to the schools, to the food programs, to the clothing program, our outlying districts and areas. So if your heart tells you that you feel like you're moved to do that, we will receive with open arms. Now I want to open up the floor. We have about 10 minutes, and I want to ask people if you have any questions of Missy and Michael, if you have any comments, any thoughts that came to you. And I'm so happy to see everyone.
Yeah, I'll start. I'll start because it's something that really happened today, and I'm very grateful for Missy and Michael for their talks. So today I belong to another group in WhatsApp, and there's a person who usually shares the morning scriptures, and today he shared the Matthew 5:5, is Meekness Weakness. He shared that in the morning, and because I had seen it in the CSL group that we were supposed to talk about Meekness Weakness today, I knew that the universe is trying to tell me something, and I am grateful for Missy for clarifying. The talk was so beautiful, and the way she related meekness and just being still, and knowing that God is part of us and we are part of the higher being. It was so refreshing to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. I agree. Missy moved us this morning. Anybody else have a comment or a thought or a share? Go ahead, Yvonne. I see your hand.
I just was thinking I could listen to this recording over and over and over and over again, because there's so much wisdom in what Missy gave us and what Michael gave us that I just want to keep listening to it. Thank you both.
Well, we have a variety of wisdom that's shared every other week, sister. So you can join us. Our next Froggy Friday, as a matter of fact, is on, let me just tell you that information, Friday the 19th. March the 19th, and we have Christine doing the treatment, and Kareth, who's online right now, is going to be sharing her worldly wisdom with her 5-minute talk. So please join us if you feel. We'd love to receive you. Anybody else? Well, are you sure you
Jeffrey
don't want to?
unmuted himself.
Oh, Jeffrey, come on, Jeffrey, talk to us, baby.
Yes, I would like to say that this is really a very interesting, it has been a very interesting lesson. And I would like to be.
Oh, we lost you. You would like to what?
Foggy Friday, like very encouraging, and I would like also to. I've had a lot of wisdom, which is really inspiring, and.
Thank you, Jeffrey. You're kind of breaking up, but I appreciate you accepting my personal invite and signing on, even though you were you weren't sure if you were going to be able to. So thank you so much for coming on, Jeffrey. Thank you, all of you.
Yeah,
What's the? Oh, go ahead.
I think he just said you're welcome.
Oh, okay. So Liv is asking, what's the center like in Kenya? Well, we have photos and we have pictures. We have a complete library. We have an office support staff. We are an incredible front in Kenya, and we are having our next conference in 2023 in January, end of January, early February. That's right. Missy's coming back. She'll give you all those details, as will I. And it is life-changing, transformational. It is phenomenal. And I'm extending my personal invitation to all of you.
And please go to the website if you want to see some pictures, and you can see some videos and treatments, and the alternate Fridays, there's a blog that either Reverend Barb or Reverend Gwen does. So there's lots of information there. So please take a few minutes and check that out.
Thank you so much, Pat. Does anybody else? Lamech, I see that you've unmuted. Talk to me.
Your phone is off. Which are they using?
Oh, nope, it's not. He's talking to work.
Okay.
Anybody else? Well, I want to welcome our first timers here today, and I want to thank Missy for bringing her friends. I want to thank the people who regularly sign on with us every other Friday. Gwen and I are so grateful on behalf of the board. We are so grateful that we get to see your beautiful smiling faces as we walk through life together. And again, I want to extend an extraordinary gratitude to Michael and Missy for being willing to shine their lights today. And Missy, I think you should sign us off today with the song that you brought us into before everyone was even here. You'll take a verse and I'll take a verse, and then we'll all take a verse. Let's just shine our lights. Are you willing to do that, sister?
Sure. Okay, here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm going, I got to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. What you gonna do? Let it shine. Let me see you shine. Come on. Let it shine. Let it shine. Go forth and shine the love and light for everyone. We love you. You are a treasure. Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Have a
Thank
great
you, everybody.